Hello everyone and welcome to round 10 of the ARL F1 2012 Championship. It's season 6. We're going around the Hungaroring circuit today for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm Matthew Gallagher, and joining me once again in the commentary box for 3 weeks running, it's Scott Woodwiss.
Thanks, Matty. Hi, guys. Great to be back once again. And as Matty said, we're back at the Hungaroring. It's tight, it's twisty, it's difficult to overtake, but on occasion this track does provide great racing, and hopefully today it'll be one of those occasions, Matty.
I hope so indeed. The Season 5 podium went as follows. TyrannoTigger took the victory from Noble 2909. I know these guys had an excellent battle, so hopefully we'll see something similar today. And xMattyG came home in 3rd place for the final position. TyrannoTigger took the pole with 1:18.1. Let's see what happened in qualifying and the race this season.
Here we have this week's qualifying laps with xMattyG in the Toro Rosso on the left and Force India of Mazy CZ on the right. You can see both drivers starting their lap by using half their curves as they come towards the braking zone for turn 1, braking around the 100-meter board all the way down to first gear. You can see Matty locking his front right tyre slightly, making him go wide, but still managing to get good exit compared to Mazy, who was slightly more cautious. Matty has already used up the rest of his curves as they're now braking as late as possible before flicking the car into the apex of turn 2. Mazy taking a very wide line through there compared to Matty, who hits the apex perfectly. DRS now wide open through the flat out turn 3 before coming up to the difficult blind apex of turn 4. Both drivers managing to not take too much curb on the inside, but riding the curb on the outside for maximum speed. Matt is around 5/10 up on Mazy at this point as they come through the long sweeping turn 5 and then onto the short straight before the chicane. Braking just before the 50-meter board, and Matty taking quite a bit of the second curb there, but both drivers getting through there nicely indeed. Both drivers finding a very nice line through the twisty turns 7 and 8, as Matty now sees the Marusha, some Norwegian guy on the grass there, and then carrying lots of speed in 5th gear through turn 10. As the screen freezes, you can see the gap between the drivers now pretty much the same as before, so Mazy has held on well through sector 2. Matty taking a very tight line through turn 11, as we now only have a few corners of this track left to go. Matty knows he could get pole here and looks absolutely committed as he hugs the apex of the penultimate corner. Only the last corner to go now, hanging it tight to the wall, trying to get on the power and open the RS as early as possible before reaching the line, and Matty does enough to get P2 on the grid with a 1:18.363, with Mazy 8/10 behind him in P8.
Thank you very much, Vizzy, for that qualifying comparison. Now let's check out how they'll line up for this afternoon's race at the Hungaroring. It's a carbon copy of the front row from Germany. Tyrrell Limitless in the Sauber, once again on pole position by 1/10.5 from xMattyG in the Toro Rosso. Row 2 and its big shot in the Williams and the second Sauber of F1 X360 F1 League. Row 3, Ricky C in the Caterham and IPOX Callum. Great result for him, 6th in the Force India. Trace B92 in the McLaren and the second Force India of Mazy CZ are on row 4. Row 5 is LC Speed Demon in the second Caterham and the Contadins, the Italian in the Ferrari. And on row 6 is going to be FizzyFan 91 in the Marusha and ACR Jordan in the second Ferrari, who didn't set a time. There are 4 non-starters today, but the most notable omission from today's grid is Noble 2909. He is away due to personal commitments, meaning that he, Randy McScrandy, Ryan 83 and Bedhead Ned all are non-starters.
It's round 10 of the ARL F1 2012 Championship. It's xMattyG and RapidScorpion commentating. We've got sun in the sky once again, and the only thing missing is Noble 2909. Who do you think is going to take the victory today, Scott?
I think it's probably going to be exactly the same battle, Limitless versus Matty. Who's going to win it? Who knows? It was very close at Germany. We're probably going to get a repeat of that. Here come the lights. Let's find out how they're going to rumble at the Hungaroring.
Let's have a look indeed. The lights are away, and away we go. Ricky C in 5th place, maintaining 5th place. Tricky looks like he's got a quite good start on Big Shot at the Greek driver, and xMattyG looks like he's got very close to the wall there, trying to go up the inside of TRL Limitless. He's managed to defend very well though, Limitless has, and xMattyG in 2nd place. There's a bit of contact there as well, and Mazy CZ just behind his teammate Callum.
So we've got Matty in 2nd place holding on. This is on board now with Mazy up the inside of turn 2. Oh, they touched! Oh, he and Prix Callum have touched. That's the worst possible start for Force India. Both cars coming together at only the 2nd corner. That's an absolute disaster. We've got the Contadins into Rich Mix 2 past the FizzyFan up towards turn 4. Mazy and Speedy would have both gone wide. This means their Contadins could take advantage, and this is now FizzyFan, the car which Contadins has just passed. as they filter up towards 67, an incredibly tight chicane as we go on board Ricky C. Look at Crookie launching the Sauber over the curves there, coming to a very tricky part of the circuit, but it's still Limitless who has the lead.
Yeah, still Limitless in first place from xMattyG and Big Shot, so the top three have stayed in the same positions, and Limitless looks like he's trying to get away. He may well be in rich fuel mixture. He's just over half a second ahead, but not out of DRS for lap 3, at least anyway now. Mazy CZ looking up the inside of LC. LC locking up his front right significantly, but still maintaining 7th place. And Mazy CZ putting it up into rich fuel mixture. May have given him a bit of a nudge there on LC's screen, but still behind him, as now xMattyG coming round the final corner now. Behind TRL Limitless, he's got no curve onto this straight. He's probably going to use about a half of it towards turn 1, and now Fizzy just behind his teammate Contadins.
Got a great run, used up his curves and some more. He's got the recharge across the start lap 2, up the inside of the Ferrari, down towards the hair, but it's going to be a braking duel between the two of them, and Fizzy Fan retakes 9th position from the Contadins, and here's the view which now Contadins has of that red and black Marussia. He's gone to standard mix 2, so he's looking to try and save it. So here's the replay of the start. Let's take you through this then. So the launch from MattyG straight into Rich Mix 3, and Limitless immediately goes defensive. He can sense that Matty's going to be straight onto that curve to try and grab the lead from him down towards turn 1. They'll run side by side, and Limitless just breaks that little bit later, and there was some contact from behind, so Matty was very lucky not to go straight on. That might have been a lag bubble there, because that was the Constantines on the back of Mazy, and he pushed the back of Callum. This is Trace B92 in the McLaren, and looks like he might have touched Mazy, which then put Mazy into his teammate, and this was then the Contadins as the two Force Indians scrap. Fizzy Fan gets past, and it was all a bit of a ruckus down to the first couple of corners, but somehow they all managed to get through the rest of the lap cleanly.
Yeah, I think Trace was actually quite opportunistic with that move, but one thing I can tell you, he is in cockpit cam, which is not his usual camera, and that's because at the start of the race he had no choice in that. He didn't have any buttons mapped to change his camera, and the game decided that he was going to be racing in cockpit cam, so you may well find him diving into the pits to change his camera angle, because his pace is just nowhere. As you just saw, he went straight across the sort of right-left chicane, and he's struggling quite a bit, as it seems like there's about 4 cars bunched up coming towards the end of the lap. You've got Mazy CZ, Fizzy, LC and the Contadins, as Trace comes into the pits now to change his camera angle, and this is going to be significant for his race.
Well, he's going to bolt on another set of option tyres, which is definitely going to help him out in terms of wear rates, but of course that's now going to put him right to the back of the field, so we've got a real charge as Limitless sets a 22.7 to set the fastest lap of the race, as Fizzy Fan up to 7th place. We did see just back down on the previous lap up at turn 12, Speed Demon lost 2 places, so he's now gone back down in the cage room as xMattyG is trying to chase after the Sauber, and that's Trace B92 exiting the pits. He's stone dead last, but of course he's got plenty of pace in that McLaren that we've seen. He's now in the T-cam that he wants, so now he'll be charging up towards the back of the field, and his first target rather is going to be Ace Jordan in that Ferrari.
Yeah, I think Trace will be particularly disappointed. Obviously it was not his fault that his camera angle was different, and he's now into his T-cam, so he can push really hard. But, you know, he had some really good pace coming up to this race. You know, he'd done a bit of practice beforehand, and he was setting times that were pretty much on the leader's pace in terms of the social races he was in and the practice he'd done beforehand. So he's going to be very disappointed that he is stone dead last, and he will have to make another stop because he's already put another set of options on, and he will have to put on primes at some point in the race, as it looked like Big Shot ran very wide indeed, which is going to put him right under pressure from Crookie. I'm not even sure if Big Shot's going to get any DRS here, so Crookie right on the back of him now. Ricky C following the pair of them potentially may want to take advantage of some mistake into turn 1. Ricky C using a bit of curves there. He's going to top out very quickly indeed, coming towards turn 1 now. Crookie looking up the inside of Big Shot. He's left him space. He's run wide though, and Big Shot retakes 3rd place as xMattyG sets the fastest lap.
I think Big Shot could probably see that coming there, because that's why he probably left the door open for Crookie so that he could go straight through and outbrake himself, and that was smart driving there from Big Shot, probably some of the smartest he's done in the last few races, because past couple of events at Silverstone and also at Hockenheim, he wasn't the cleanest driver, if we're honest, but Crookie then holding on now from Ricky C. Ricky's having an impressive run, but that wasn't very impressive, over the curbs and sliding wide onto the AstroTurf. That's dropped him a few car lengths to the Sauber in front. But Ricky is doing pretty well in 5th place as we get a replay. This is of Fizzy Fan on Mazy, and Mazy running very wide on the exit of turn 1. That AstroTurf really does slow you down, and that was easy pickings there for Fizzy. This is Contadins taking advantage of the other caterer, and that's LC Speed Demon running wide. So Speed Demon's actually just struggling a little bit in his early laps to get some tyres into the temperature into the tyres, I should say, and also just trying to get into a rhythm. It seems as though this circuit isn't really one for him.
No, it's actually, I just want to point out the little battle that Ricky and Crookie had side by side down from turn 2 all the way up to turn 4, I think that was. And Ricky unfortunately had to get out of the throttle, otherwise there would have been an almighty collision. But now Ricky may well get past Crookie here. The Sauber's known for its straight line speed, but it hasn't got any DRS, so the Caterham goes straight past and up into 4th place now, and Big Shot is only just up the road there, as you can see, and it looks like xMattyG has closed in on Limitless after Limitless getting away in those first few laps.
Something you also want to point out as well, I didn't mention in the qualifying results, is that both FizzyFan and ACR Jordan are both running on the prime tyres. The only 2 cars which started on that compound, all the rest started on the options. So those guys are probably going long. So I think FizzyFan could be a dark horse there, because he is actually running fairly well in the middle of the pack, and I think he could possibly benefit from anyone having to stop early. Of course, these guys will have to stop roughly around lap 10 or 11 or so. That's probably when we'll expect these guys to start coming in, as Ricky C cuts the curb on the exit of turn 7 and heads through this very difficult sequence of corners 8, 9, 10, 11. In some cases, they're a little bit faster than you may actually look, because they look more like nice to be right-handers. This place is called Monaco without the barriers, and it's pretty true, because even it's tight and twisty, as we said, it's extremely difficult to overtake. We've got a replay here. Matthew, take us through it.
Yeah, so Contadins come around the final corner, and LC looks like he's given him a bit of a nudge, which has caused iProX Callum to go up 2 places, because LC obviously letting him back through. So that would have cost Contadins a place, as FizzyFan bumps straight over the curb. You're just saying how well he was going, and he is actually on the option tyre there, Scott. So, oh no, he isn't. Sorry, no, I've completely got my compounds wrong. It's the yellow and white stripe, isn't it? So yeah, Fizzy is on the primes, and that will impact his race a little bit, because he was actually holding up a few option runners, and I don't think he'll want to be doing that again. As I said earlier, xMattyG has caught up to Limitless within DRS now, and it looks like Limitless may be struggling a little bit with the tyre wear. As I say that, xMattyG loses the back end a little bit, and loses a little bit of time to Limitless, and Big Shot few seconds back, so not within DRS just yet, as xMattyG, even despite losing the back end, went purple in the first sector, as TraceMe92 still dead last, but setting a blistering pace with a 122.5, quicker than the leaders. A little bit of fresher tyres obviously, but he's making them count.
Definitely so, and if you watch FizzyFan and Mazy battling over 6th place, this is going to be possibly could be one of the key races in the championship, because of the fact that Noble's not here. So this is going to be key points that both Limitless and MattyG are going to be taking out of Noble's championship lead. So these guys are going to have to want to race as hard as possible. They've got that nice little gap. Big Shot's going with him in 3rd place, so those guys are really going to be scrapping over it near the end of the race, as we now watch Fizzy trying to go around the outside of Mazy. But the Czech driver holding onto the inside line very well indeed, but he's left the door wide open towards turn 2, and Fizzy just pops it up the inside, says thank you very much Mazy, and up into 6th. He's doing incredibly well on those prime tyres. Of course, the compounds we've got for this weekend's race, the yellow marked soft tyres and the white marked medium compound tyres. So the mediums are the primes, softs are the options, of course. And you see Mazy putting it into standard mix too. And these guys, remember, we saw races like Germany, they were putting it into rich mix very early on, and they got very marginal on the fuel, and that's what produced such a great race, with the top 4 being separated by pretty much less than a second, if you like. So, will we see that today? It's not a circuit where it's very high speed. You've got, as we said, lots of twists and turns. It's a circuit that focuses on high downforce and mechanical grip rather than aero. So, we'll have to wait and see. These guys seem to be being a bit more sensible on their fuel compared to Hockenheim.
Yeah, FizzyFan, plus 6 laps of fuel, that is a hell of an amount. So he is definitely saving it, probably for his option stint towards the end of the race. But we're now back on board with xMattyG in 2nd place. TRL Limitless just down the road there, as you can see, the race leader. xMattyG has got DRS, he's using some of his curves now. He's used about half of it, which is usually what he does anyway. Brakes for the first corner, TRL Limitless on the inside. Runs a little bit wide, but no, I think he's still going to get on the power before xMattyG. xMattyG now using the rest of his curves. It looks like Limitless is as well, and he goes to the inside. Where's xMattyG going to go? He's going to go around the outside. They're side by side going through turn 2 now. xMattyG, is he going to take first position? He is for now, but Limitless is still on the outside, coming towards turn, is that 4? And the first sector split, and Limitless holds on to the lead somehow.
That was brilliant driving from the pair of them, and MattyG with a bit of a flick of the tail as he hit the curb there, and that was brave from Limitless. He knew he had to defend the inside line, but he had enough life left in those tyres to stick it around the outside of turn 3, and that is what just kept him in front. But I'm sure that Matty knows that he can see Limitless' weakness now. He knows he's marginal on tyres compared to himself. Looks like that Matty's looked after him a bit better in the opening couple of laps, and that's going to come back to haunt Limitless, I think, probably as we near the pit stops as we get further. Now on board with TraceMe92, and he's attacking Jordan at the moment.
Yeah, ACR Jordan looks like he's struggling quite a lot on his tyres, and he hasn't put much practice in this week, I don't think, as I think he's been playing a bit of MotoGP and been on the bikes, so this is definitely a lot different to that, because there's 4 wheels on the cars rather than 2. So it looks like he's struggling for pace, and Trace up and out of last position, which I'm sure he'll be happy with, as we're now on board with Contadins in 9th place. He's got DRS on iPro X Callum. Is he going to do him into turn 1? I think he pretty is going to. I'm getting my words all mixed up as he goes down into first gear and makes the move stick. Does he? Yeah, iPro X Callum has a look round the outside, but nowhere to go, and Contadin says thank you very much, DRS, and gets passed into 8th place. I think DRS, Scott, I think they've got it just about right, to be honest, because obviously out of the last corner the cars get on the power a lot earlier, so it does give them a chance to defend into turn 1, but also gives the DRS runners a run on them. Yeah, definitely.
I did notice that Contadins came at Callum there for a long way back. He was pretty much quite a few car lengths back, but the power of the DRS and also the curves he had left at his disposal, and of course the recharge he got across the line, that definitely helped to close in and make that move into turn 1. Now, watching in the battle for the lead, I did just see Limitless go a little wide just at the end of the 2nd sector. So Limitless then is now again still struggling. The gap is 4.5 tenths. It's a 22.9 that time around for xMattyG. Huge lock up for Limitless again into turn 1, and that arrow, you can see that's Big Shot. The arrow just at the tip of the cockpit of the Toro Rosso, that's Big Shot just behind. So it's 1st, 2nd and 3rd are all together, and another huge lock up for Limitless. And this time he's not leaving the door open too much. This time he's covering the line well as they head up the hill towards turn 4 at the end of the 1st sector. This is Trace P92 beating Crookie out of the pit, so that's aiming to P10. Or is it because Crookie's going to try and get himself back up the inside, but the McLaren has got the line he needs. He's up into 10th and back with the leaders, and a big slide again. That's a lurid slide from Matty, and the camera's switching so quickly because we've now got Crookie back up the inside trying to force his way through. I think there was 2 hits there from Crookie, but Tracy's having none of it, but he might have to, because here comes Crookie up towards turn 4. Is he going to have to back out of it? Yes, he will. So Tracy 92 in that McLaren, forcing the issue and getting himself into 10th.
Yeah, great battles going all the way up and down the field. That's why the camera's switching so much. And Big Shot now having a look at xMattyG. So all of a sudden, xMattyG challenging for the lead has now lost a second to Limitless with his tyres going off. Limitless actually running quite wide out of that penultimate corner. And it's going to be interesting to see if anyone dives into the pits. And as I say that, xMattyG into the pits now. So he is going to try and get that undercut on the leaders, as Big Shot, I think, has carried on. He has indeed. So xMattyG into the pits. We haven't got a pit reporter today, but you know, it's going to be interesting, Scott. You know, how much pace is on those fresh new primes?
We'll have to wait and see. One thing they will need is a really quick stop, and look at that, 2.8 seconds. These guys are getting quicker and quicker by the race. We were used to 2.9s in 3 seconds. Now they're into 2.8s as Fizzy Fan locks up and heads straight through towards the tyre wall, just grazes it and doesn't damage his front wing, thankfully. What he has lost instead is 4th position, and that's to the Contadins. So the Contadins doing pretty well on those option tyres to get himself into 4th. After he started in, I think it was 6th position, or somewhere around in the mid part of the grid. So Matty's rejoined back in 7th place. He's got iPro X Callum just in front of him. And this is Mazy's pit stop we're getting a replay of as well, which we didn't see whilst we were looking at those battles. And another quick one, I think I can only assume that was about 2.8 seconds as the replay.
I think he got a bit held there
graphic.
Though, Scott. Sorry to cut across you, but I think he got a bit held coming out of the pits. I think there was a car going past, so he would have lost a bit of time, as we've got a few slow motions of TraceMe92 going around the final corner.
Just been told apparently Constance did start on the prime tyres, and he actually started back in 10th. That's incredible to get himself up to 4th and 5th. These two are doing a fantastic job on those prime tyres. We said Fizzy Fan was going to be a dark horse, but honestly, no disrespect at all, but I didn't expect the Constance to be up there as well. So that Ferrari's got some decent pace. This could be crucial there, because Matty's coming down the pit straight. Is coming up. That is Limitless on the inside there, coming out of the pits. And that's not too bad for Matty, because he's actually found a few more hundredths of a second, so he's right on the rear wing of the Salva as he exits. And remember, Matty's tyres are up to temperature. Limitless is a stone cold, and they're heading up towards turn 2, and Matty's trying to go around the outside. And I think Limitless will try and stick his neck in again, but no, he can't do it this time. Beautiful outside pass from xMattyG into 5th position on track, but that is effectively the lead of the race he's just taken. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, great move there, and Limitless on the colder prime tyres. He didn't have that lap to warm them up, and xMattyG tried to jump on that as quickly as possible. And I can give you some insight that that move was actually instigated from Limitless losing KERS, and he had nothing to defend with, and so xMattyG went round the outside with the fresher primes, the warmer primes even, and has taken the net lead, and it's going to be interesting to see if Limitless can actually hold on to xMattyG and keep DRS.
I think we've got Big Shot heading into the pit, so the Williams crew will be out ready for the Greek driver, which means that Ricky C will take over the lead of the race. And this is Matty, who's now going to challenge for third and fourth, and that's Constantine. That's Constantine's diving in on the prime tyres. This could be pretty intriguing, because we expect him to go a lot longer. I'd have expected him to go out and stay out with Fizzy fans. So this could be quite a key part of the race. I didn't expect that at all. Did you, Matty?
No, I didn't at all. I think there's definitely, I thought he'd be pitting on sort of mid-20s. But anyway, xMattyG up the inside of Fizzy fan. That is crucial, because Fizzy is on a completely different strategy to xMattyG, and there was Limitless, but now it's Big Shot in fourth place. I'm not too sure what has happened to Limitless there, but xMattyG has all of a sudden got this gap to his rivals in this race, and this is going to be crucial to see how much Fizzy fan can hold the likes of Big Shot and Limitless up, and Ricky C is somewhere amongst them as well. But that is going to be very interesting. But back to the contadins point, I think, yeah, I mean, I would have expected him to hit on sort of lap 25, to be honest. So what tyres? Obviously, he's going to go onto the options. So it looks like he's going to go for a 2-stop here, Scott. That is completely different to every other person, I'm pretty sure, in this race.
It's a bold strategy, but I think he possibly feels that the 2-stopper on the options might actually be a quicker strategy than these guys who are going to be on the... Because the majority of the field at this point, they're all going to be, well, apart from Fizzy near the end of the race, they're all going to be on the prime tyre as Ricky C dives in from the lead, so the catering boys will be ready to receive him. And but that's quite intriguing. Well, let's see how that works out for Constantine. He may just be, and sorry for the pun because it is Ferrari, he could just be a dark horse, a dark prancing horse, if you like, as we move on. And xMattyG will take the lead then as the catering boys get to work. Option tyres off, prime tyres on, 2.8 seconds again, so pretty evenly matched these pit crews, and I think Fizzy's just going to, yes he will, he'll beat Ricky has to pit, because of course he still has to pit yet, as xMattyG pumps in a 121.5. I think that might be the first guy who actually had so far in the 121s, Matty.
Yeah, he's pushing on those new tyres because he knows this is his opportunity. He's overtaken Fizzy, and Fizzy is still in second place. So Big Shot and all of the rest of them are still behind Fizzy. He's trying to get as big a gap as possible before they are free from Fizzy. So look, he's got 2.1 second gap to Fizzy alone. So this is crucial for the victory, and if Big Shot and Limitless really want to take first place, they need to get past Fizzy as soon as possible. And Fizzy is just minding his own business. He doesn't have to let these guys through. They're going to have to get their own way, find their own way through. And I'm assuming that will be through DRS, and well, because his tyres are going off, he's not going to get a very good run out of the final corner. Despite saving half of his KERS, he's running wide, and Big Shot actually has got a run on him now. Is he going to go the inside? He is indeed. Fizzy's gone wide now because there's no space, and Limitless up into third as well. That is crucial if they want to be challenging Matty for the win.
Absolutely right. If those guys have been held for a couple more laps, that would have been xMattyG pretty much have the race signed, sealed and delivered. So these guys, they had to get past Fizzy as soon as possible, and to get past them before the DRS zone is actually pretty key, because that means now these two will probably have, well, Limitless will have DRS. And
yeah, take a look at Limitless now, Scott.
Absolutely, down towards the turn one. Limitless up the inside of the Williams, and he's gone straight on. And again, that's pretty much a carbon copy of what happened between Big Shot and the other Sabra Crookie. He expected Limitless to come up the inside, let him kind of go straight through, and saw he was going to go wide, and just took the switch back on the exit. He's gone through. So now Limitless, that's actually not really worked out, because he's back behind Fizzy fan, and he is now going to have to do it all over again. That's a real shame. He's right there just behind him. He hasn't lost too much time. He's 3.5 tenths back, so Fizzy fan will still have to keep looking in his mirrors. But this man right now, Matt, he's looking pretty comfortable right now. He's got a 3-second advantage. And I think right now he possibly could be putting himself into contention for the victory outright. Yeah,
he's used quite a bit of his fuel, I think, in that sort of part of the race, because he knew it was important. As Limitless knows this is important as well. Cuts the corner slightly, so it's going to be interesting to see if he got any sort of warning for that, because he definitely took Fizzy on the grass, and he's run wide there as well. So, but he's up into third place. That's all we need to know. And Limitless has now got to catch Big Shot, who has probably pulled about 2-3 seconds now on Limitless. So it's going to be interesting to see if those two can DRS their way to xMattyG, as Mazy, his controller, his wheel has disconnected, which is a bit of a hazard, to be honest. But I think he's become invisible, so I think the cars are just going straight through him. He's got a warning for illegal blocking. I don't think he got a penalty, but that's going to be a shame for him, because he had a good start.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do believe I also heard an expletive there, so if you did hear a beep, that was him not too pleased with that, and obviously you can probably tell the reason why. Trace 92 then into the pits on lap 16, and of course he's in to switch on to a set of, I'm assuming this is going to be the prime tyre. Yes, it is. Options are off, primes are on. What's the stoplight? 2.8 again. So these pit crews really are well drilled here in Hungary, and we'll see exactly where he feeds at. Whereabouts is the confidence in relation? I think that's just him coming on the mini map on the left hand side. It's going to be Ferrari versus McLaren, and that's
Mazy CZ.
See, he's actually gone way further along. He's dropped right down to 11th. So of course Trace will try and get those tyres up to temperature as quickly as possible to pursue the Force India. Talking of pursuits, we've got Ricky C in the Caterham chasing after Fizzy Fan in the Marussia. A little bit of a deep entry into the first part of that chicane there for Fizzy Fan, but he managed to hold on to it pretty well. As then when this starts to get put away and chase after Big Shot and xMattyG, Fizzy runs very wide to the exit of turn 9. And now look at this. Ricky C can smell a chance here, and again, both of them run wide just as much onto the AstroTurf. And will Ricky dive up the inside of turn 12? No, there's no gap to try and get through there. But a small slide there from Ricky. You can see he's pushing, and Crookie's trying to close in as well. He was setting some pretty fast laps consecutively for about 2 or 3 laps to go. So he's looking pretty racy on those tyres, but I wonder just how quickly he might be able to get through. Looks like Ricky might just have DRS down the straight here.
Yeah, DRS is going to definitely help Ricky now. Straight past Fizzy, and I reckon Crookie might have a go at him as well. Let's have a look into turn 1. Is Crookie? There he is. He's dived up the inside of Fizzy. Fizzy very cleverly did not turn in there. There's no point. He's not racing these guys. I think he threw that away really when we went off in turn 1 and got a little bit of dirt on his tyres and just couldn't stop the car. So it's going to be unfortunate for Fizzy. He's going to be thinking, oh, maybe I could have caught these guys by the end of the race on the fresh options. But he's just going to have to deal with it and try and salvage as good a result as possible, as he's in 6th. But obviously he's got a stop to go. But I think with those option tyres, he may well be able to get a few positions back. And I can see why he did get confused with the contadins probably being down the field, but he hasn't actually stopped for his second set of options. So I'm sure we will see Trace and contadins battling towards the end of the race. But contadins will be on those fresh options, so I wouldn't be surprised if he storms straight past him. But we're still on board with Fizzy, who looks like he's struggling quite a bit. He's in rich fuel mixture, which is quite strange, because I think a lot of drivers like to keep it in standard, even lean fuel mixture when the tyres are going off, just to get a little bit better traction out the corners and not sort of risk the car and driving it into the wall or spinning as such, because obviously you have higher revs when you're in rich fuel mixture, and that means it's a bit harder to control, especially with worn tyres.
And of course, if these guys, if they put new tyres on, of course, they'll put the rich mixture on to probably try and get a bit more rear wheel spin, if you like, into the tyres to try and heat them up a bit quicker. Of course, in lean mixture, if you're more looking towards traction, of course, that tyre temperature's not going to go up too much, as Ricky C pumps in a 1:21.3, so he's pretty flying along. And now on board with the leader, lap 20 of 35, 15 to go. And Matty's pretty comfortable though. It's 5.2 second advantage over Big Shot in 2nd place, and Limitless is a further 1.1 seconds back. So Matty's looking pretty comfortable at the moment. As we now look back to the fight for 11th place, this is Mazy and Trace 92. McLaren's going to try and force his way through. He looks through turns 8 and 9. Just his eyes will be fixed on the rear of that Force India as they head through turns 10 and 11. And let's see, does Mazy run wide onto the AstroTurf? No, he doesn't, but Trace does a little bit. Punches it into fuel mixture 3, and he's on the charge at the moment. But of course, he's still having to pay for that early price. The fact that he had to start in cockpit cam, and of course, the early pit stop to get it changed really has cost him potentially some really decent points today.
It has. You can see his pace is just superior to Mazy CZ, to be honest. He's just getting affected by the dirty air behind him. As you can see, look at the understeer he's had out of the final corner. But I still think he is going to dive up the inside into turn 1. I wouldn't. He has to, if he wants to get any sort of points from today. He's going to. Oh no, he's locked up. And in turn 1, he's completely missed his braking zone. Oh, it just goes from bad to worse for Trace, and he's back down into 11th place, and he's lost quite a bit of a gap to Mazy. I'm sure he will catch that back up, but it's just not going very well for Trace, who, as I said earlier, had the pace to be challenging at least a top 5, if not a podium. So he just never gets any luck, Trace. I mean, what with the Germany thing where he was about 10-15 mile an hour slower on a straight, and then being stuck in cockpit cam. This guy cannot get a break.
And it's probably one of the situations where you want the ground to swallow you up whole just right on the spot, but unfortunately we don't get that in F1 2012. As Fizzy Fan comes in for his option tyres, one and only stop out of the way, 2.9 seconds, about a tenth slower than the rest of the pit crews today, but not too bad for Marussia. They've got him out in 9th place, and he's just going to hold on to that place ahead of Mazy in the Force India. So that's not a bad stop there for Fizzy. Now he's got 12 laps or so to get those tyres up to temperature and try and make an impact on some of the cars in front. I don't think he'll catch some of the front runners too much, but it all depends on what these guys are going to be able to do and how fast those prime tyres will wear off with about, he's now 12 laps to go. As we now look further up the field, this is Contadins looking, I think possibly, this might be time for him to make his second stop, I'm guessing. Yes, he does. So this is the second stop for Contadins, currently sixth, and he's going to lose quite a few places, in fact. So I think the battle mainly is going to be between him, Trace Me, and possibly even Fizzy as well, depending on how many places he makes up, whilst the Contadins is in the pits.
Yes, I think he's going to come up quite close to Fizzy, maybe just behind him. But I think Fizzy can possibly be looking at sort of 7th place, because there's obviously, I think there's Callum and LC Speed Demon battling quite hard in front of him. So where's Contadins come out? Yep, so Fizzy has come out in front of his teammate. Trace is ahead of Contadins as well, I think, is he? Or is, oh no, Contadins in 9th. No, 11th. God, it's so difficult to sort of work out once they come out of the pits, because it takes a while to update. So Contadins is behind Trace 92, 4.2 seconds, but I'm sure that gap will come down very quickly indeed on his fresh options. And Trace is going to have to dispatch of Mazy as soon as possible. He has caught up to the back of him. Is it going to be deja vu? Is he going to luck his brakes again into turn 1? He's got the racing line this time rather than having to get on the marbles. He's locking up a hell of an amount, but he's run a little bit wide, but this time he hasn't run off the track too much, and he's taken 9th place. So I think Trace will be a little bit relieved that he's managed to pull that off this time.
And just shows you just how bumpy this Hungarian circuit is. I'm pretty sure I saw the rear of Trace Me's car. Literally, it bounced on one of the huge bumps here, and it literally, the rear of the car came clean off the ground. That was absolutely incredible. You don't see that in F1 every day. As Contadins chases after Mazy, put it into fuel mixture 2, and Contadins again also the same as Fizzy on those soft option tyres. He pumps in a 120.8. He's absolutely flying out there. The previous fastest that was a 121.0 for Fizzy. He's now just trounced that by about a 1/10.5, which is absolutely incredible. And now he's, no wonder he's right onto the back of Mazy. This is incredible pace for these two on the soft compound tyres. I reckon if this carries on, he looks after them pretty well. Maybe Contadins might just cause 1 or 2 surprises, as will Fizzy, I guess, in these last kind of 8 laps or so. We're getting close to the end of the race, and really this is where desperation starts to set in. These guys, they know that positions are up for grabs, vital points are up for grabs as well, and it's that time where, yes, the end of the race is near, but you've got to start taking some risks if you want to get any decent points today.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to see, the drivers at the start of the race, they're like, oh no, you go through, oh no, that's fine, I'll just follow you and have some DRS. But now Contadins knows he needs to get past Mazy, because he doesn't want to be fighting for 10th place. He's got those fresh options that, as you can see, a 120.8. He's faster than anyone on the track right now. So he needs to get past Mazy as soon as possible and then make up as much ground, because as you can see on the minimap there is at least 5 cars within, say, 7 seconds of him, I'd say. So, he could be looking at a 6th or 7th place result if he can get past Mazy into turn 1. We're now in the slipstream with DRS and a bit of KERS as well. It's surely going to be easy peasy lemon squeezy into turn 1. It is indeed. Downshifting into first gear, I think. Oh no, keeping it in second. I guess he's got the grip to be able to get on the power early. And up into 10th place. And his next target is TraceMe92, who is having some troubles himself.
Meanwhile, almost forgotten about this guy. xMattyG comfortably running at the head of the field and pretty much unchallenged. He's kind of taking up the mantle of that Noble 2909. As Noble is, of course, not here due to personal commitments. So it's pretty much, while Noble is away, xMattyG will play at the front, and he's definitely doing that so far. He took the victory, a wonderful victory, first one of the season in Germany. Looks like he's about to make it a second one with a few laps to go. Of course, it's not guaranteed, but big shots from 5 seconds back down the road. And we'll have to wait and see how that plays out, as Trace now setting a pretty blistering pace as well. So he's chasing after the Fizzy fan, who of course is on those option tyres. And what's intriguing, it seems to me that Trace is actually catching Fizzy. It seems to be maybe Fizzy's actually taken too much out of those option tyres. And these option tyres do have quite an operating window. It's very selective, so you have to be very careful how you run them, as that is ACR Jordan allowing xMattyG through as he starts the 31st lap out of 35. So we're into the final 5 laps then. And looks to me he's got it pretty much signed, sealed and delivered, but it's still fast and frantic for the final points paying positions behind him.
Yeah, definitely. Trace is going to be completely frustrated with... He's in 9th place. You can see 8th, 7th and 6th in front of him, and he's done an extra pit stop. That just shows where his pace it really should be, up in the sort of top 5. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of very aggressive moves from Trace, because I think he will want that 6th place, because that'll be a result for him if he can do that. Get past Fizzy on the option tyres, but not really setting that great of a pace now. 121.6 for his last lap. That's pretty much similar to the guys at the front on the primes. So he should be really setting 120s at this point in time, but as you can see there, he's on optimal fuel, so he has not got much fuel to spare in terms of setting blistering lap times. And the same with Trace as well, on optimal, but he looks like he is a little bit faster than Fizzy. So let's have a look. Fizzy with the DRS now, using about half of his curves, I think. Yep, towards turn 1. LC does not have DRS, so he may well fall prey to Fizzy in the last few laps, and Trace is there to pounce on any mistakes these two guys do in front of him.
Of course, that's the thing that's going to hamper you. Of course, these guys, if they're having to run on the standard and even lean fuel mixtures, that's going to really hamper their pace. Of course, it means that Fizzy is not going to be he's not going to be running at the pace he really wants to. He knows that those option tyres can allow him to run at. And same with Trace, of course, they're pretty worn prime tyres. And of course, if the fuel goes down, of course, the lap times go quicker and quicker. Of course, lighter car, of course, means faster lap times, as everyone knows. But still, this is Fizzy trying to get past Speed Demon down board with Prix Callum down in 11th. This is Mazy, sorry. And Prix Callum actually has the race. In fact, he's destroyed his vehicle. Whether or not he's had an accident or he's just had enough of this race and just didn't want to do it anymore. Either way, that's a retirement from the race, unfortunately. So we've lost one of the Force Indias. Now this is intriguing because look at this. That's Limitless. This is for second place and another spot on the podium, and Limitless takes second. That's a key move with 3 laps to go. And does Big Shot have any response there? We'll find out in a second. This is a replay here, Matty, of Fizzy fan on Speed Demon.
Yeah, going up the inside with his fresh option tyres. As I said, LC might fall prey to LC. Although Fizzy, I don't know why he's overtaken him there, because it looks like LC may well just come straight back past him. Let's have a look with the DRS. Is he going to be able to do it in the catering as well? Round the outside, he's ahead, is he? No, right, he's broken a little bit later. Fizzy up the inside still keeps 6th place, so it looks like it. Oh no, maybe not. LC now coming up the inside. I don't know how he's actually had a better run than Fizzy. He was using KERS. He may well be in rich fuel mixture, and LC back up into 6th place. Great move by him. Trace now down into -1 fuel, so he is going to have to manage his fuel a lot. Oh, he's actually gone up to optimal now, so he's sort of going between -1 and optimal and watching these two guys battle like no other, like gladiators. And I think Trace is just hoping that these two crash, because with his fuel so marginal, I don't think he's going to have the pace.
And Ricky here is sniffing a podium because he can see Limitless has pulled away from the Williams, and the Irish lad here in the catering could possibly be looking at getting himself onto the rostrum here, and it looks like it could possibly happen. KERS and DRS down the front straight. Big Shot getting defensive down towards turn 1. Huge lock up from the Williams, but somehow he holds the inside line and fends off from Ricky C here. We're on to the penultimate lap, so literally Ricky's going to do this. It's now or never for him as we're back up to this battle. 4th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Speed Demon, Fizzy fan and Trace B92 looking from the point of view of the McLaren. Let's see exactly what Fizzy fan can do. He takes the wider line, at least trying to get a later apex, but it does still mean he's going to get DRS and the rest of the KERS down the pit straight. This is for 6th position. Here comes a Fizzy fan up the inside of Speed Demon, and on straight line speed that was pretty easy. LT will have some KERS left and another huge lock up, and this could all be psychological, and also because of course Fizzy fan is just there and he's trying to force Speed Demon into a mistake, and same with Trace with the 2 guys in front. And also we almost forgot about this guy Contadins on those soft option tyres has caught up to this trio to make it a quartet. This is going to be a fantastic scrap for the final points places on the penultimate lap. Yeah,
Fizzy upshifted very early indeed into 6th, so it looked like LC got a very good run on him, but he managed to keep the position just about, as Limitless has not got, a massive gap to Big Shot, so Big Shot may crucially get DRS on this penultimate lap, coming on to the final lap now. Is Big Shot going to get DRS? Let's have a look. No, he doesn't. So now Ricky C, easy peasy, straight up into 3rd place. The podium spot is his. Is he going to keep it on the final lap? We will see, but he's up into 3rd place. Big Shot, unfortunately, now down to 4th. And Trace now up the inside of LC Speed Demon, up into 7th. LC maybe making a bit of contact on the rear end there. Contadins now watching the pair of them go ding-dong battling. And LC going going up the inside of the Trace. May have made some contact, I think he has. He's going very wide indeed. I think maybe letting Trace through. And Contadins wants the pair of them. He's got KERS. He's opening DRS, and he is. Sky's taking both of them.
Incredible, 3 wide down the pit straight as they start the final lap, and Contadins has taken the pair of them, you're right, from 9th to 7th, just like that. Incredible opportunistic driving from Contadins. And Traceby's also got past Speed Demon, so as one caterer marches towards the back of the field, another one has put himself into a podium place. Fantastic racing here at the Hungarian on the final lap. I think someone needs to hide the checkered flag. We've got a proper race in our hands here. I think in some cases we don't want it to end, but of course we'll be seeing Mazy in just a moment as Traceby's now going to try and chase after the Contadins on this final lap. He's about a 10th back behind him, but here's the man of the moment. We haven't seen him pretty much all race. Coming around the final corner, it's going to be 2 wins in a row. Fantastic drive.
xMattyG coming over the line for a 2nd win in a row. It wasn't really challenging after the sort of when Fizzy got in front of Big Shot and Limitless. So and Ricky C comes home in 3rd place. What a brilliant drive from him once again. After the disappointment in disconnecting a few races ago, he's managed to get back on the podium, and he will be ecstatic with that. Big Shot probably quite disappointed considering he was fighting for the win at one point. And looks like Contadins in 7th place at the moment, just behind Fizzy Fan, who does come home in a very good 6th place, to be fair to him. And that was good considering he had that quite awful mistake into turn 1. What could have been, you never know. He may have challenged Crookie for 5th, but the Contadins comes home in 7th. Trace, a brilliant drive from him in 8th, considering all of his woes and worries that he had. LC Speed Demon in 9th, and Mazy CZ in 10th. So, brilliant race though, Scott, wasn't it?
Oh, fantastic. The fight, it's always great when you see a battle in the final few laps, and a very happy xMattyG there, as you saw. And but great stuff, great race once again. And we said this race on occasion does provide some some great action, and it's fair to say we weren't disappointed. Fantastic day of racing at the Hungarian.
I completely agree, Scott. xMattyG took the victory. 48 minutes and 20 seconds from ARL Limitless, 2.3 seconds back in 2nd. Rich C, 3rd place again. What a brilliant drive from him. Big Shot player, pretty disappointed in 4th, I am sure. With F1 X Crookie, a nice decent points haul for him in 5th. Fizzy Fan 91 in 6th place, 35 seconds back, with Contadins in the Ferrari, the first of the Ferraris, in 7th. Traceby 92 in 8th in the first of the McLarens, with LC Speed Demon in 9th coming home with 2 points. Mazy CZ 1 point in 10th place, with iProX Callum crashing into the wall, unfortunately, a few laps before the end. The rest of the drivers either disconnected or did not start, and I'm very impressed with the driving that I've seen today, Scott.
Yeah, some great driving standards, not too many incidents. If you look at the Czech Championship now, it's definitely decreased, and look at that, that's crucial. MattyG's now jumped ARL Limitless, even though ARL was on the podium. The result today was enough to see Matty jump into 2nd, and now 4 points advantage, but the gap is coming down now, so Noble, I'm pretty sure, will be back for Spa, I would assume. And Ricky C's also jumped up 2 into 4, so great stuff to get on the podium. It really has benefited him. Rowley's dropped down the standings as well. Crookie's now up to 11th after that result. Constance is down to 9th, and the rest of the guys who either didn't finish or haven't raced for the past few races, they have started to drop down the tail end of the order. But great stuff, and Matty's now trying to... That was crucial to get that victory today, because he's closing the deficit on his teammate, and I think he'll definitely be pleased with that. Yeah,
I think with his drives at the start of the season, Noble was able to pull a huge margin on him and the rest of the drivers, and it was crucial for him to have any sort of hope of winning the championship, because Noble wasn't there. So 25 points out of the deficit he currently had. So it's certainly making it a little bit more interesting for first place. We'll see what happens at Spa. But thank you very much, Scott, for commentating with me today.
Not a problem, always a pleasure. Hopefully I'll be back again for Spa. And what a great circuit it is, and it always promises, again, like this circuit, to provide great racing. It's one of the greats in F1, and I'm sure we're going to have a fantastic spectacle, Matty.
Yeah, next race is Spa, a favourite for many. It promises to be an excellent race, I'm sure. Join us next week for the Belgian Grand Prix. I've been Matthew Gallagher.
I've been Scott Woodward.
Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.